Hello, witch, and welcome to the Witch's Inn. I'm Karena, the innkeeper and magical practitioner here at the inn, and today I am going to talk to you about 5 quick tips in order to help you connect deeper to your tarot cards. Now, this could be a tarot deck that you've had for years, or this could be a brand new deck that you are introducing in order to help you connect deeper to your intuition and magic. So let's get right into it. First and foremost, let's do a little bit of myth busting. Out there, you might hear that it is like faux pas, do not do, bad luck, curses upon you if you buy your own tarot deck. And that's simply not true. And without getting into like too much of the ins and outs of why this is the case, I will let you know that it does have to come down to history, capitalism, and privilege. Basically, when tarot was first introduced, cards were commissioned by artists. So they were very, very expensive. This was passed down, decks were passed down throughout generations in order to, keep the way that the individual family read, as well as outsiders from coming in. As we have more access to the printing press and all these different availabilities with modern technology, we can and we have an abundant amount of tarot decks, oracle cards that we can get at any time. So although it is a special, special gift, if someone gifts you your very first tarot deck, please do not consider that if you buy your own tarot deck, your very first one, that you're going to have bad luck. Okay. Look at it as you're treating yourself, you're following your intuition, and you're going deeper into that intuitive calling. So, second tip, start connecting with your deck. So, for this purpose, I am going to use the Modern Witch Tarot deck by Lisa Steele. I really enjoy this deck because it has a more intersectional view on society these days. The Rider-Waite-Smith, which is something that you might be familiar with, it's very whitewashed, and that's not how life is anymore. So, this is really great. It follows the very same layout as the Rider-Waite-Smith, but it's more diverse, and that's why I like it. So start to connect with your deck. So regardless if this is your first deck, your second deck, or your 100th deck, it's always very, very important to connect with your deck. And how I recommend doing this is by carrying it with you at all times for at least half of a lunar cycle, so new moon to full moon or full moon to new moon, or the entirety of a lunar cycle. Divination works very alongside the moon, right? It follows a cycle, just like the wheel of the year. It follows a cycle. So you're going to want to carry this deck with you in a purse, in a backpack, in its own little like special baggie. But more importantly, keeping it beside your bed or under your pillow for that duration that you have decided in order to connect with it. What's the importance of this is that you get to learn the energy of your deck, but more importantly, the deck gets to learn your energy. It gets to learn the different scenarios that you are in so that when you're reading through your deck, when you're connecting through your intuition, it becomes easier to recognize the symbols and intuitive hits that come as you're reading. Okay. Because as much as it's great to learn all of the different card meanings, when we're reading through divination, we're reading through intuition. So it's important to know that, like, when I see a feather as I'm reading, that means that a messenger is coming from the other side. Where for you, a feather might mean that to look out for birds specifically. So this way your tarot deck actually gets to learn how you interact with the world. It's a very important step. Next, introduce yourself to your tarot deck. It's a really great idea when you first get any deck to go through every single card. Look at them, examine them, just see what the artwork is like. What are your first impressions? And when you feel ready, give them a shuffle and ask, what am I using this deck for? And see what comes out for you. So I have the Page of Cups and the Three of Wands here. So right now, it's letting me know that I'm on an emotional journey, no longer waiting for my ships to come in. So you might want to like jot down a few questions of how you would like to introduce yourself to your deck, or how that might look to you. But I would recommend asking your deck, what are you here to help me understand? How can I go deeper into this understanding? And will this deck help me connect to the other side? Or is this simply being used for the soul path that this person is on now? All right. And here is tip number 4. Clear their energy every single time. There's a few different ways that you can do this, but I always love to just give 3 little taps on your deck, letting it know the past reading is over. We're starting new, and let's go. Let's rock and roll. Other people enjoy using smoke in order to clear their deck. And sometimes people will keep them on a windowsill close to the moon so that either the sun or the moon can clear their energy at night. It's important to always set your intention with this. So setting the intention of 3 taps mean this deck is cleared. Again, we're communicating with our cards always, right? If I set this on my windowsill, that means that my deck has time off to clear and recharge. If I'm using smoke, I might be kind of using a little spell to be like, with this smoke, I clear all that has been said within these cards and welcome new information to come forward. Don't be afraid to make it your own. And finally, tip number 5, call in your spirit team or helpers. Now, I know that not everyone believes in God, angels, the spirit, whatever that might be, right? For me, I use a very simple opening. I ask my angels, spirit guides, higher self, and past loved ones to come forward so that when I deliver this message, it's delivered in love, light, and clarity. Thank you. This lets my cards know that we are getting ready to rock and roll. It also lets my guides, the angels, and the universe know that I am dropping down in order to access my intuition, creating a protective bubble around me, and getting ready to tap into the person that I am clearing. That I'm reading for. This is why it's really easy for me to read if someone's in front of me or if someone is virtual to me. Okay. And I've added, again, make this your own. Don't be afraid to just say, like, cards, I am ready to start working with you now. Any insight is greatly appreciated. Thank you. Use what feels good to you. And finally, I added a little bonus tip here. Now, make them yours, crystals and more. So, oftentimes, cards are packaged in these beautiful, beautiful boxes now. But when you first started reading with cards, they would just come in plastic wrap and they would look like this. They would either have a guidebook. Sometimes you had to buy the guidebook extra. So it was very important that you kept them in a safe space, such as a silk scarf that you would wrap them up into, or a little baggie that won't hurt them or damage them as you put them in and out. I have a bunch of different baggies, magical baggies that I have charmed in order to hold my tarot in, because I love using the boxes as kind of accents around my magical room. So what you can do to make this your own is add pieces of crystals like amethyst or citrine or rose quartz, anything that really feels like good or you feel called to doing. You also might want to write like a little intention or spell or sigil that you put in this bag, or the bag itself might hold a sigil that keeps them protected and that allows no negative energy to cling onto them. When I get my cards, this is the very first thing I do. I put them in their new home. I add any crystals that I would like to add to the bag. I also add the guidebook because where are we without our guides? And then I seal it up. And as I seal it, I think of all the protection that this bag is creating for my tarot cards. I then lay them beside my bed for the very first night of sleep. And then I begin to carry them around with me for either that 2 week period of new moon to full moon to new moon, or that entire month, depending on the different types of cards that I have collected over the years. So, these are your 5 tips plus bonus tip to connect with your tarot cards. Make sure to let me know in the comment section down below which one you'll use, or if you have tips for others. All right, everyone, I'm Karina. This is The Witch's Inn. Until next time, bye.